Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be starting a new series where I talk about a character's viability in the current meta. We're going to be going over their most relevant players, this character's advantages, disadvantages, good matchups, all that kind of stuff, and let's just get right into it, starting off with Mario. So let's start with the advantages of Mario, and the first obvious one is going to be his combo game because it is ridiculous, and it's one of the best combo games in the game for a couple reasons. The first one's obviously going to be because he can kill you at 40% basically anywhere on the stage, which is a nice touch, but it's Smash Ultimate, a lot of characters can do that, but something that Mario has that some characters don't is that almost every single thing that he has is a combo starter. You can do it off of down tilt, up air, down air, forward air, back air, nair, grab. Like, it is so insane how Mario just has combos out of every single aerial that he has. It's really, really potent. It makes him incredibly scary to fight against. So when you're against Mario at literally any percent, you have to worry about every single one of his aerials because they're either going to kill you or combo into a kill. You have to worry about grab at all times because not only does he have an up throw and a down throw that combo, but he also has a back throw that is going to be killing you, and you also have to worry about his down tilts and his up tilts. And while those aren't as big of a problem as the other ones, it's just another thing that even when this aerial character is on the ground, he is still incredibly potent. I also want to talk a little bit more in detail about down air and forward air because they definitely are his weakest combo moves in the air. You're very rarely going to be starting your combo game with these moves. While you still can, it's not really going to be the thing that you're fishing for because they are fairly committal and the other of his aerials are not at all. And it's also just the hardest to convert off these moves. But the thing that they give Mario is an insane X factor because forward air, obviously, the fact that I could just forward you off stage and kill you is insanity. And the fact that I could combo into that with an up air, which is really, really quick and kill you from center stage because you can do up air, nair, up air, forward air. That gives Mario such a strong X factor and allows him to steal away games incredibly quick. It's kind of the same thing with down air, but this time instead off the bottom, it is off the top because you can do up air platforms into down air, and also gives Mario an amazing out of shield game. But he doesn't even need down air out of shield. That's the thing. Mario's shield game is one of the best in the game. Like, yes, when you think of shield game, you're probably going to be thinking of a character like Game Watch, but Mario also has an amazing up out of shield. He also has a killing down air out of shield and a killing up smash out of shield. So it's really scary in last stock, last hit situations to be touching Mario's shield because he has so many ways that can just explode you off the top, and he has so many ways to get back into the game because all of his moves are going to be comboing into his strong X factors of forward air and down air. Next up, I want to talk about his specials, which I think are weaved really well into his kit. You have Fireball, which is essentially just an option that's going to be helping you approach. It's also a way that you can kill people because you can combo off of Fireball into one of your many killing aerials, which is super helpful. So you have a projectile that's going to be potentially killing people off 40 if you convert off it correctly. You also just have a nice projectile. You know, Mario is a character that can get zoned out. So while Fireball isn't insanely broken, it's a nice way to break the distance sometimes. You also can gimp people with it, which is super helpful if you don't want to go out there and kind of risk your stock because sometimes you can get reversal in this game. You can just throw out a nice Fireball. If you catch their jump, they're going to die, which is always nice. Then you have Cape as well. Now, Cape has the obvious uses. Yes, it's good as a reflector. Yes, you can gimp people, which only adds to his X factor, but you can also use it for edge hogging, which I love. The fact that you can just take people off the ledge and use your insanely quick and insanely strong, well, not insanely strong, but stronger than it should be for how fast it is, back air and kill people, it makes Mario, you essentially just can't hold on to the ledge around 120%, or he's just going to steal it from you and kill you, which is obviously a super scary option. You have Flood as well, which is kind of a way to get stage control, which is really important for Mario because his combos are so insane, and he has that up air into forward air, so if you're put at the ledge versus him, it is incredibly scary. He also has broken ledge trapping in general, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And then finally, you have the uppy. Now, the uppy isn't anything crazy. It can poke beneath the ledge, which is always nice, and it is an amazing out of shield option, and sometimes you're going to be killing off the top with it, but I would definitely say it's his worst special, not because it's bad in any sense. I just think the other ones fill a more important role. Now let's actually talk about Mario's aforementioned ledge trapping because it is really strong. He has his really fast aerials of something like an up air, like a back air, but the fact that Mario's back throw is the way that it is, it makes him so incredibly scary on the ledge because when he faces his back towards you, he can up smash you out of shield, he can anti-air you with a back air, he can anti-air you with a down air as well, he can grab you, he can just do so many insane things, and it just makes him really difficult to deal with at the ledge. You also have to add on to the fact that he can just steal the ledge from you. Like, he might not even go for a ledge trap, he might just yoink it from you and then kill you. Mario's ledge trapping in general is just really good because he is a fairly mobile character. His aerials are going to be quick, and he's going to be able to execute on you perfectly. And the final good thing about Mario that I want to talk about is going to be his stage list. Out of every single character in the game, Mario has a really strong argument for having the best stages because there's only one stage where he's really, really bad on. That's going to be FD. So you just ban FD. Now, you never have to play your worst stage, and I would recommend banning Kalos as well, but that's getting phased out a lot right now, which is great for Mario because now you have an extra ban. This is just kind of a preference, and you can also use this ban against your opponent because there's a lot of characters in this game where you just have 2 stages that you need to ban. You cannot play on those stages, you're just probably going to lose because you're at a huge disadvantage. Mario doesn't really have to suffer that as much because once you get rid of FD, you kind of have a little bit of wiggle room because all of his other stages are so good. The triplats for Mario are obviously ridiculous. You never want to give Mario triplats. I mean, that's like a tried and true Smash thing. You have small battlefield and PS2 as well. Conversions off the platform for Mario are just going to be amazing, and every other stage of the game is going to have platforms. You could make the argument for town and city as well because sometimes the platforms are going to be gone, so maybe you're going to want to ban town as well, but when the platforms are there, the layout is really, really good for Mario because he can take you on basically anywhere in the stage and convert off a platform because they're going to be at the ledges and the center. So overall, the stages for Mario is broken because he has combos off the top, he has combos out the side. I mean, he has combos in every which direction, and once you ban FD, you're getting rid of your worst stage. You're never going to have to play on that, and you're just giving yourself a huge advantage before the game even starts. Next up, I want to talk about some of the disadvantages of Mario, and his biggest flaw is going to be the fact that he hits with his face, because this makes his disadvantage a lot scarier and also just makes his neutral game a lot weaker. Now, Mario's neutral is still very strong, don't get me wrong, but when you're running into something like a cloud back air, it can be really difficult to get in, even when you have an option like Fireball, because if you're coming with Fireball, 90% of the time when you're approaching with Fireball, it's going to be from the air, because it's really hard to get access from Fireball on the ground. Like, you very rarely are going to be converting off of that unless you just pressure someone into shield and get a grab. But let's say you're going to be coming in from the air and you're playing against Cloud, for example. I think Cloud is just a great choice because he has the disjoint and he has the up out of shield that I'm looking for. A lot of your pressure is going to be coming in from the air, kind of at like a 45-degree angle, and if you're not able to apply that pressure because someone either has a really big anti-air, and spoilers, you don't really have a way to deal with these massive anti-airs because your move that hits below you is down air, and it doesn't really hit below you. So if people have these really massive up airs, you can get caught in the disadvantage state. It's really hard to get a neutral. Now, his disadvantage state does have some saving graces because he has the stall with cape, he has B reversing with Fireball, his aerial mobility as well is just fairly good. So his disadvantage state, I wouldn't say is a super explicit weakness, but against these characters that have these really oppressive up airs, it can be incredibly difficult for him to get down. Another example of that would be Byleth up air. Byleth up air is massive, and Mario has literally no way to contest it, so he just kind of has to give up the control, go to ledge, and then you're at ledge, which is never an ideal situation. So the swords for Mario, they can be extremely difficult for him. Now, the general rule of thumb for Mario matchup charts are going to be, okay, does this character have a disjoint? If this character has a big disjoint, you're probably going to be struggling with it a little bit, whether it be a back air, a forward air, an up air that's really easy to keep Mario in the disadvantage state. Though this isn't going to be applying to everyone, I think a good example of that would be Roy, because Roy, while he does have the disjoints, a lot of the time he's going to be getting closer to you because he wants to hit you with those sweet spots, so Mario is able to kind of close the distance there because Roy wants to be fighting a little bit closer contact. Another one would be Ike. Yes, Ike has these massive aerials that are able to keep Mario out, but the second that Mario parries one of your very slow aerials, you're just going to die, because giving a Mario a parry is the last thing you want to do. You don't give a Bowser cookie and you don't give Mario a parry, and if I had to pick Mario's worst matchup, I would probably say Shulk because he has these massive disjoints, and he also has the fact that Monado Wart just gets you out of Mario's combo. So now Mario's whole gimmick of being like, yes, it is difficult for me to get in, but once I get in, I explode you, Shulk just says, well, I'm going to keep you out really well as once you get in. I don't really care about it too much because I can get out with Smash Art, I can get out with Shield Art, Blast Art, really any way that I want to, and it just makes it extremely difficult for Mario to find his damage. Now let's talk about some of Mario's best reps. I've taken the 5 best Marios in my opinion. There's a couple people that could be slotted in here as well because there is a lot of Mario players right now. The first one I want to mention is going to be Tavares. His best run is going to be at Santa Paws, where he got a 5th place, beating Greg, Chunky Kong, and Apollo Kage, which are obviously some massive wins. I think the Chunky Kong win is going to continue to go up in stock as well because he's continually having good placements with DK, and people are able to have good placements a lot with a bad character. It makes me extremely scared of them. Next one I want to talk about is going to be Ludo, someone who has similarly also kind of had a little bit of a boost lately. Their best run was going to be at Major Upset, where they went absolutely off, getting a 9th place, beating Esam, Jackal, and Quinn Jackal, who just got 2nd place at Crown the 3rd, by the way, and beat MK Leo. So Ludo's also a player you got to look out for. And then you have the OG Mario of Dark Wizzy, who has a bunch of good placements. 7th at DreamHack, 17th at Major Upset, 25th at Battle of BC, taking Aquila to Game 5, and a close Game 5. Like, Game 5 itself wasn't that close, but if it's a Game 5 set, obviously obviously it was a pretty good fight put up. He also has a 17th place at Crown. He's had top 8s at many tournaments before that. His most recent top 8 at a major is going to be at the Big House, where he was able to get wins on Isam, Zenodo, Mars, Kameme, Frostbite, like a bunch of top players. But the two top Marios right now that have kind of been dominating the game are going to be Now and Kurama. We'll start off with Now. He has so many good results that we can't go over them. I'd say probably his best one is going to be his 5th place at Kagurabi 9, where he got wins on Jazo, Level 1, and Hiro, as well as a couple other players. But our star Mario is going to be Kurama right now, because Kurama is a scary good player. He has a 7th place at Crown the 3rd, beating Apollo Kage, T, Dark Wizzy in the Ditto. He also has a 2nd place at DreamHack San Diego, beating Larry Lure, Luis, Chase, and Naito. 5th place at Major Upset, beating Zomba, who just won Crown the 3rd. Fizmit, JDV. 4th place at Ultimate Summit 6, beating SkyJ, Mudace, Void, Spargo, and SkyJ again. And then everything else that he has in this season is a little bit weaker, but the weak placements for Kurama are 17th place at Genesis and 17th place at Collision. That is how amazing this guy is. He's probably a top 20, maybe top 25 caliber player, because the start of the season is a little bit weaker, but also, again, when your weakest placements are 17th place, it kind of just shows how much of a threat you are right now. Also, at Collision, he was able to get a win at Siski, and at Genesis, he was able to beat Base Mage, as well as a couple other players at those events. So as you can see, Mario is a very common character at the top level. I just picked 5 reps, and these might not even be the 5 reps, because there's a lot of people you could throw into contention for. Again, the top 2 right now are definitely Now and Kurama, but there's a bunch of up-and-comers that have been making waves with this character recently, and I could see a bunch more Mario players breaking into top 8s. So the golden question, is Mario viable? And the answer to that is yes. He is extremely viable. I have him in my top 30, which may seem a little bit low, but if you're top 30 in Smash Ultimate, you can win a Super Major by yourself. You don't need a secondary. Now, there are some matchups that you might want a secondary for Mario, because there are some difficulties that he has. Again, example would be Shulk. Shulk, I think, is extremely difficult, but we've seen the best Mario player in the world be one of the best Shulk players in the world. You have Kurama being able to beat Jared is King in the past, and while that is just one guy beating another guy, it proves that Mario, even with his bad matchups, his X Factor and his game plan is so incredibly strong that he's able to overcome these extremely difficult challenges. So yes, I would say Mario is extremely viable. I would recommend picking up the character up. He is a little bit difficult because you have to be very aware of your neutral game plan, because you are going to get stuffed out fairly easily. You have to know his combo routes. You have to be reacting to DI. But once you get all that down, you're going to be one of the scariest on-hit characters in the game, with a really solid game plan and overall just an amazing kit. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this series, please let me know down below. Let me know which character you're going to do next. We're probably just going to go in the chronological order unless there's a massive outbreak for a specific character. If there's a specific fact that I left out that you think is important, let me know down below. Sport's been absolutely unreal. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.